The other thing I wanted to talk about was the idea of a silo. So let me explain that. You may think that, this doesn't apply to me, or why should I do it? And so I really want you to understand how this works and what lobbying is about. In the I Lobby policy framework, we look at how things are working now. So, a lot of voters are frustrated because they can't access the government. They think it's confusing. They wonder why nothing ever seems to get done, yet at the same time, they're generally not involved. So who is involved? Let's look at that. And who's not involved? I would say up here, and you hear this all the time, right there, the top 1% or less are involved in political activity and policy making on an ongoing basis. These are the people that you think shouldn't be doing it, but it's large corporations, high net worth individuals, trade associations, some nonprofits, and other government groups, whether it's state governments or city governments, etc. But everybody up here, and I would say this is less than 1%. And that's what we're seeing, okay? And without offending anybody, there's a lot of people in here who are simply not engaged, not interested, or don't think that they can get anything done, or they're not even aware that you can influence change. Down here in the bottom 20%, these people are not involved at all. And it's unlikely that they will be for lots of different reasons. Then you have a group of people in here who are busy and distracted and doing many other things. And that's probably another 40 or 50% of the population sitting in here. And they're busy with their lives and kids, and they maybe think about things that need to be done, but they're not actively engaged. And again, it's unlikely that they're frustrated enough that they want to get something done. And then up here, you have another perhaps 25 or 30%, 33%, somewhere in that range. I would say just you have somewhere around 30% or a little bit less. I'm just going to call it 30% for now. And this group of people is educated, they're aware of the problems, they want to get something done, but at the same time, maybe they're not taking action. But there is another cohort sitting right up here of small business people, and that's probably a portion of this. I would say in here, perhaps another 5% in here. So this section is probably a group of small business people who are very interested. They are affected by regulations. They want to get something done, and they're not terribly active. So what I'm saying is part of what this model does is we want to move you up. We don't think that you're going to make a change if you're down here because you're relying on other people above you. Here, you're probably pretty distracted. You're not thinking about policy or politics in the way that you could actually affect some change. Although there are some students who are in this group who are actively looking at public policy and government and how to affect change. But for the most part, the folks who are going to be doing something, you're going to be going farther up this silo. And what you want to do is you want to get up here as high as you can. And we talk about how that is going to happen. And in effect, the idea is not to prevent these people from doing something. This is a game of if you can't beat them, join them. But you can't say, oh, this is bad what you're doing, therefore you should stop. It's unlikely that will happen. And what should happen is that the people who are interested should move up become engaged, become informed, and start to make change on your own. And that's the idea behind the framework and what we do at iLobby, so that you could actually move up and get into the group that is actively doing it. The thing that has been holding you back probably is you haven't focused on an issue, and we'll talk about that. The 3 things I mentioned in the book, which I will bring up again here. If you haven't read it, it's available on Amazon. It's How to Change a Law. But the 3 things that I bring up are message, mass, and money. And the message is you need to be clear on what your issue is. You need to get very specific and not general, okay? And we talk about how to do that. In terms of mass, you need to find like-minded people who agree with you, and even some who don't, because that can help you sharpen your argument. And then you need to be committed and have the resources to be able to do that. And what we're saying is, through crowd-funded lobbying, you could actually pull that coalition together, share the cost, and do what these folks are doing up here. Now, they're doing it because they're large corporations, they have a lot of capital resources, they're able to afford high lobbying fees and hire someone to do the work for them. What I'm trying to do here with you is show you that you can do the same thing, and you discount the cost by sharing it in a crowd-sourced and crowd-funded fashion. So that's the idea. So if you're interested in moving up, that's how it works. And once you realize the payback and the benefits, and that you actually feel more engaged and involved in what's happening with issues and laws and legislation, then you will begin to see that it's actually a pretty interesting area, which is another reason why these folks here, once they're involved, it's pretty sticky. They don't give it up. They continue to do it because they find that it benefits them, their company, their industry, whatever it is they want to get done. And again, I'm talking broadly, but this could also be at the local level with your homeowners association or your local town or city where you want to get some change done with City Hall. Having traffic slow down on a street, putting up stop signs, helping develop a park in your community or in your area. All of those things are possible, and they all have to do with creating laws at different levels of government. I'm going to leave you with this, and then we're going to jump forward to another area that I wanted to talk about for people to get a model. And you sports fans, I think you will like this. All right?